Hi friends, today we're going to find out the results to our walking rainbow experiment that we set up on Friday. If you're following along with us, you might want to have your science journal handy. Today we're going to be filling out number 4, the results, and number 5, the conclusion. On Friday, I set up the experiment and then I waited 2 days until Sunday to see what happened. And what I realized for me is that my experiment didn't work. So I went back and I looked at the directions one more time and read them more carefully the second time and realized that I did make a mistake on Friday. So if you did this with us on Friday and yours didn't work, you can try it again and I'll tell you what my mistake was and how I fixed it. When I set it up on Friday, I put water in all of the jars, when really the directions told me to only put water in the jars that had red, yellow, and blue. So I did set this experiment up again, and I'm happy to say that the second time I did it, it worked. So if you tried it at home and it didn't work, I'm so sorry I made that mistake, but you can try it a second time if you want to see if you can get the results that I got. You want to leave the jars between the colored water empty instead of putting just water in them. So I'm really excited to show you what happened. When I did the experiment a second time, you can see that the colors this time mixed together. So in between my red and my yellow jar, I got orange. In between my yellow and my blue jar, I got green. And in between my blue jar and my red jar, I got purple. So what I want to do is, now that mine are in a circle, I'm going to straighten them out so they're in a line and they show their rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. So when I mix those colors together, red, yellow, and blue, those are our primary colors, I got what's called our secondary colors, and those are orange, green, and purple. And you might remember talking about this in art class with Miss Cab, that when you mix primary colors together, you get the secondary colors. Go ahead now for number 4 and you can draw a picture of our results. For the results picture, you might want to draw the jars in a row like this, and then you can add those rainbow colors. Go ahead and do that now. All right, and then for number 5, for the conclusion, we want to write a quick sentence about what happened. Since this was an experiment about color mixing, we want to say what happened when we mixed red, yellow, and blue. So what you can write is, when we mixed red, yellow, and blue, we got orange, green, and purple. Go ahead on your science journal now and record the conclusion. we always do is we always talk a little bit about why things happened. So this was an experiment about color mixing, but it was also an experiment about how water can travel through different objects. What happened in this experiment was that the paper towels absorbed some of the colored water and the water traveled to the next jar. One thing that I thought was super interesting, I noticed at the end, is that all of the jars have the same amount of water in them at the end. And they stopped moving the water when all of the jars got to this point. The science word for this is called equilibrium. And that's a science phenomenon where some things always want to be the same. So this is kind of what happened in this experiment. And what I learned about the water traveling through the paper towel is that it's very similar to the experiment we did with the celery. The water was traveling through the paper towel and absorbing, similar to how water in plants goes from the roots up the shoot, through the stem, and into the leaves of the plant. So I thought this was a fun way to see that happen again, also with some color mixing. So I hope you enjoyed this experiment. If you tried it at home and it didn't work, give it another try with that correction that I made. And on Friday, we will do another cool experiment together.